I'm here to sort of talk copper, and we've heard a lot about lithium, we've heard a lot about rare earths, so it's a bit encouraging to hear a bit more about uranium. But, as I say to people, it's all great to hear about these new metals and get all excited about them. But at the end of the day, motor vehicles that are electric need 4 times the amount of copper than petrol. So, again, it's not to be forgotten that copper is still pretty key to the whole thing. And again, I've heard things about how tough the market is. So to me, it's all about, what sort of prospectivity you've got, what advantages you have in terms of leverage for your investors. And, I think, we've got a lot of big ticks on all of those fronts. I've got to agree with Ray when he said it's all about the people, because clearly, I'm one of his people. But he's absolutely right. It is all about the people. But I think it is what attracted me to the company about a year ago was just the quality of the assets, and also I think the jurisdiction. At the end of the day, there's no point having an operation in a jurisdiction that doesn't let you do anything. And I think we tick all of those boxes as Alicanto. The 2 mines, I am a bit of a history buff. These 2 mines have operated for hundreds of years. And in fact, in Falun's case, has operated over 1,000 years. Falun is a copper gold asset in the Bergslagen region of Sweden. It produced 28 million tonnes at 4% copper and 4 grams per tonne gold and 5% zinc. I mean, it was an extraordinary mine. The copper from that mine ended up on places like the roof of Versailles. I mean, just an incredible story. Our other asset, Sala, was the largest and highest grade silver mine in Europe for many, many years, hundreds of years. It produced 200 million ounces at a grade of 1,244 grams per tonne. You start talking about those grades today, and people's heads sort of spin. And, we had grades there, I've seen old intercepts of sort of up to 7,000 grams a tonne. So you've got 2 pretty phenomenal assets, if you like. And then Sweden, again, from my perspective, Europe had always looked a bit hard, and I suspect it was pretty hard for the rest of the world as well. You don't see much going on in Europe. I say that, I was sitting next to Eddie King last time around. He's just sold his Ragnar Metals business to BHP for $10 million. This asset sits right next to our Sala asset. And so again, for me, what it is all about is I think Europe coming back in. People rushed off to Africa, people rushed off to South America. But, at the end of the day, Europe uses 25% of the world's commodities. It produces 3 or 4%. There's a real focus in Europe about coming back to that self-sufficiency. They'll never get to self-sufficiency, but there's a lot of pressure on those member states in order to sort of lift their production and sort of introduce some of that security. It's bad enough having that vulnerability, but you start to overlay, what's going on in Ukraine and Russia, and obviously a lot of Europe's commodities come from Russia. That vulnerability increases. The stress of that European Union increases, and you've seen that with the Critical Minerals Act that they've just put out. And look, I spend a lot of time with politicians and Ray as well. Talking to them about, where does Sweden fit within all of this situation? And again, it's quite interesting. I mean, Sweden is one of the biggest mining economies in Europe. I sort of often joke when I first joined is that, I would turn up at the airport in Stockholm and Greta Thunberg would sort of come behind from the baggage carousel and say, "You're not welcome here." But Swedes are very pragmatic people. Again, you saw it quite recently with their energy policy. Because of security of energy, because of the situation going on with respect to Russia, they moved their energy target from 100% renewables by 2040 to fossil-free by 2040. So that's the sort of people that you're dealing with over there. It's a very pragmatic mindset, which is really encouraging to talk to. So, from, and we're in this Bergslagen region of Sweden. We're down the south end. Up the north of Sweden is where you've got the Sami people, and you might have heard a little bit about that just with the whole voice debate. The Sami people are the example people throw up about, what having a parliament in Sweden and across sort of the top of Norway there in terms of, how they operate. But the Sami people do a lot of the reindeer herding up in that part of the world. So it is a culturally sensitive part of the world. But we're down in the south. We're an hour out of Stockholm. The infrastructure is fantastic. They've been mining there for thousands of years. You've got great VMS systems down there. Lundin have their Zinkgruvan operation down there. Boliden have their Garpenberg operation down there. So we're in an area where you've got lots of mining and lots of good things happening. But in terms of the assets themselves, look, really, really interesting. When I first joined, it was all about Sala. The guys we'd got hold of Sala, and in 12 months' time, we'd put a 10 million tonne zinc silver resource on the ground there, which was a fantastic effort. But for me, when I joined, I have no doubt there is a mine there in Sala. It's 10 million tonnes at the moment. All the work that we've done quite recently shows that ore body continues up to the north, and it's just a matter of continuing to do the hard work there and add the tonnes. What got me really excited was the silver. As I told you what those historical grades were, I mean, just phenomenal. If we can find some of those high-grade silver then, and the repeats of the old Sala formation, this thing is worth a fortune. I mean, Sala is worth a fortune. And we've just sort of finished a drill program there. The last sort of results we put out were in May. And we had a metre at 1,300 grams a tonne. We had 5 metres at 750 grams a tonne. There is clearly materials there, but it's a tough world at the moment, and people aren't going to help us and fund us continuing to build that resource. So we get really excited about this Fulun asset. So this is where we started in Sweden, and this is where we've gone back to. As I said, 28 million tonnes at 4% copper. You can only imagine what that's worth today. When we talk about people, Erik Lundström is our chief geologist. Erik was the chief geologist of Boliden, one of Europe's biggest mining companies, and certainly the biggest mining company in Sweden. He's got 8 discoveries in that particular region. He goes out and he's looked at 3,000 outcrops. He draws these beautiful maps with lots of different colours. I'm a banker. It doesn't mean a hell of a lot to me, but it's there is nobody in the world, and I don't overstate it when I say that, but there is actually nobody in the world that understands this Bergslagen region better than Erik. And so Erik, as I said, he is responsible for what Garpenberg is today. He is the guy that found the extensions there that has put 300 million tonnes in reserve and is the best mine that Boliden has by an absolute long shot. So Erik is designing our drill program there. We put our first hole into the Whitgruven prospect, an old just underneath an old zinc mine there. We hit mineralisation, which was fantastic. We hit, I think, 750 grams per tonne silver. We hit up to 2% copper. Got very excited about it. But what we got really excited about is when we put the EM down that drill hole, this off-hole conductor lit up like crazy. Now, again, what Fulun is it's within the zinc, silver, lead mineralisation, you have these very high-grade, elevated copper, gold structures. So, it's Fulun itself was quite a small footprint when you look at 28 million tonnes. It was 100 by 200 by 500 metres deep. So we're looking for these structures within that mineralisation. So while we were really excited by that drill hole, the off-hole conductor was the thing that really got us excited. So we thought we'd put another hole down. I said to Erik, just don't miss. Unfortunately, and I don't know how much we missed by, but we did miss. But what we did hit was this 8 metres of copper stringer zone, which we know sits in the footwall of Fulun. So if anything, that is our number one target. Well, from my perspective, it's our number one target when we go back there drilling again. But, what we have done over the last few months is that we've spent a lot of time getting ready for this drilling program that we start this month. So we now have, what I should say before that, actually, when we did that great result at Whitgruven, we didn't actually own the lease that the old Fulun mine was on. So we went and bought that as quickly as we could. We paid 200 grand for it. And I still reckon that'll end up being the absolute buy of the century. We got a 1,400-hole drill database, and which Erik, I've never seen it. It was like a kid in a sandpit. He was very, very excited. We've come together and we've drawn all of this 3D modelling. Lots of nice targets around the old Fulun mine. It's very clear that the old timers mined out what was there, and there is a significant amount of really interesting intercepts for us to follow up. We had 50 metres at 3.5 grams per tonne gold. We had 11 metres at 60 grams per tonne gold. We had 7 metres at 7% copper. I mean, the amount of targets we've got is crazy. So while we've identified this sort of 10-kilometre trend across our Falun tenements, we've really zeroed in on the 3.5 kilometres between Falun, the old Falun mine, and the drilling we did at Whitgrooven. We've done all of this surface EM. We've done a lot of gravity surveying. We've got a number of gravity anomalies that sit along that trend, and there hasn't been one drill hole put into that trend. Like, not one drill hole in all of the years that this has all been going. There's been no drill holes put into this thing. So we've shown that Falun and Whitgrooven are related. They're along the same trend, and we back that up by finding all of these gravity anomalies that sit between the two of them. And that is between that, but those, as well as a lot of the targets that we've got around the old Falun mine, are the targets for this drill program that's just about to start. We're just very close now to signing up the drill contractor, and Mr. Cable will be happy to know that we're very close to finally putting that drill hole into the ground, and so he'll stop giving me a hard time, which will be quite nice. You might send me a love heart or two rather than some of the other stuff he sends me. But look, it's we've heard a lot of great stories today. As people say, it's all about the people, it's all about the assets. And from my perspective, I really feel that it's right time, right place in Sweden. So for my mind, it's all lining up. I've got really, really high hopes for this drill program. I think the leverage that we got at Alicanto is absolutely massive. If we can show people high-grade silver at Sala or anything that approaches 4% copper at Falun, I think this is going to be a pretty wild ride, and I'm really looking forward to it. So, but thank you very much. Thank you, Jane, for having us, and good luck, everybody. Thank you.